Hello everyone, I'm Brendan from Bit by Bit. Today we'll be ranking every major release of Assassin's Creed from worst to best. This list will not include the following. The series that started over 10 years ago has given us many great games, a few decent ones, and one disappointment.
Disappointed!
Starting off our list is Assassin's Creed 1. Now, although being a great game at the time, Assassin's Creed 1 has not held up well due to the bare-bones nature of the game. However, the parkour of the time was pretty good, and the storyline was interesting with a great twist. Later games would improve on many of these aspects, so ranking this one last is justifiable to me. Oh, you know what's next. Ah yes, Assassin's Creed Unity, the debut of Assassin's Creed on the current generation of consoles, and yet it still wasn't as good as the other AC game released on the same damn day. Ranking this above AC1 is tough. One thing that makes it a little easier is the combat. While glitchy as hell, it's still better than the first, along with more things to do in the overall game. The protagonist Arno is rather charismatic, but we've seen these characters before in Edward and Ezio. He is definitely an improvement over Connor, who has the charisma level of Hayden Christensen, the one who wowed viewers with his inspiring performance in Star Wars.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
All in all, AC Unity is the worst modern AC game. Although it does have some cool components such as co-op, the bugs and the same old prevents it from being higher on this list. The next entry on our list is Assassin's Creed 3. AC3 is one of the best time periods for an AC game. You explore colonial America, but as a lifeless fucking corpse, also known as Connor. He's out to hunt the Templars for murdering his mother and taking his people's land. You all know about Connor's daddy issues and overall lack of emotion, but looking past that is a game that's actually enjoyable. Connor's father, arguably the best character in the game, is a good villain. Being the son of Edward must have helped in the charisma department. I don't know what happened to Connor, but nonetheless, Haytham is a great character. The game's combat, while being the easiest of the series, is fun and rewarding. There's just something about killing two dudes by shoving a gun in one and shooting the other with that same gun. It's very satisfying. The naval combat system was introduced in this game, and while not being amazing, still gives a solid experience and lays a foundation for Black Flag to build on. The gameplay and side characters are good, but the overall lack of color and Connor having the charisma of Barry from Resident Evil 1.
What is this all about? I can't figure it out at all.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Leaves the game near the bottom of the list. Next up is Assassin's Creed Revelations. For the setting of the final chapter in both Altair and Ezio's story, the developer decided on Turkey. Now to me personally, the setting was rather bland. Although the hook blade and the additions of crafting different bombs was unique. They didn't add a whole lot for me personally, though in my opinion, Ezio is one of, if not the best main protagonist in the entire series, only rivaled by Edward. The game had a good story for the most part. I did enjoy Altair's scenes, although they weren't very long and there weren't that many. The combat was the same, but it added more kill animations and improved overall fluidity, and it made the combat feel very good. I didn't need the romance between Ezio and his romantic interests. It's nothing that bothers me, it's just kinda there. The last chapter for the two original Assassins isn't perfect, but it makes an overall solid entry in the long-running franchise. Next up, the short but sweet experience of Assassin's Creed Rogue. It lets us control an assassin turned Templar, Shay Patrick Cormac. Shay is a good character, better than Arno in my opinion, and the game actually gives a good reason for why he sides with the Templars. Rogue blends the story beautifully with the previous game's combat. The naval battles, while few, are good. They're not as good as AC4, but definitely better than AC3. There's one particular scene involving a massive earthquake, which was really fun to me. The game can be beaten in about 6 hours, but my short time with the game was more enjoyable than Unity, while only lasting maybe a fifth of the playtime. Hunting down Shay's former friends is a different twist on the series, and made each assassination harder than the last. This game truly twists your beliefs and makes you ask yourself, do you agree with the assassins, or have you switched like Shay? You get to see a completely opposite perspective, and as a longtime fan, I enjoyed it a lot. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is next, and I have to say, I loved industrial era London. The trains, the carriages, and the other aspects of the Victorian era all made for a better game than the previous year's game, AC Unity. This time around, you play as twins, Jacob and Evie Fry, who are two completely different characters. I personally preferred playing as Evie to Jacob, because she was more calculating and less rambunctious than her twin brother. While the villains are forgettable, I enjoy the special train missions and conquering boroughs. I really enjoyed playing with the different styles of weapons and the unique skills for each character. I did not, however, enjoy the side characters as much as I did in the past games. Henry Green was really the only one who stood out for me. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is a gorgeous game, with a good story, and fun assassination missions, but the targets themselves were lackluster. Overall, I really like the game, and think it's vastly better than AC Unity. Next up is AC2.
This is, my friends, an outrage!
Now I know, a lot of people have this at number 1 or 2 on their list, and I can understand that. Roaming around Italy for the first time in the series is a breath of fresh air for AC, and Ezio is a great main character. I personally just think the installations in the series that are above this game on my list gave a better experience. AC2 made Assassin's Creed what it is today. Assassin's Creed 1 was a good start, but 2 is such a drastic improvement for the AC formula. It added an even better story than the first one, and the murder of Ezio's family gave you a real reason to hate the villains. This game was somehow more lighthearted than the first one, adding more comedy while still giving great dramatic moments that kept me wanting to play more. The combat between AC1 and 2 is a night and day improvement. Now, later games would improve on this combat system, but up until Origins, the combat laid out by AC1 and AC2 was generally the same. The characters such as Uncle Mario, who has one of the best introductions in the whole series, and Leonardo da Vinci, who literally almost cuts off your finger as a joke, really adds to the more lighthearted nature of AC2. 2 still holds a special place in my heart for getting me into the series. The game has held up even to this day. The direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 2 is next on our list, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. My favorite Ezio game is often viewed as the second best of the trilogy. Now, AC2 is great, but Brotherhood adds one key element, assassins, that you can train and call into battle. Now to many, this isn't a big feature, but as a teen, growing up fighting 15 enemies makes you feel like a badass. Calling assassins that you've recruited and customized has also given some great memories. I don't think it's better just because of that. The story, while not as good, is very much enjoyable, with fun assassinations and unique missions. Brotherhood is very similar to AC2, so there's not much else to say. It's AC2, but with better gameplay and added features. Next up was a tough choice, but number 2 is AC Origins. The AC team took a year off in 2016, which was a great thing. The last time that the AC team took a break, we got AC2, which improved on and changed so much of the first game. AC Origins also does that, but on a larger scale. The combat isn't as flashy, and it more resembles Dark Souls, which I like. It's more rewarding instead of dynamic, which means more to me. Egypt is beautiful, with vast deserts, rich cities filled to the brim with activities and culture, and even swampy areas. AC Origins is a great game, with a great main protagonist. Bayek is cunning, but he has his own uniqueness to him. He shows true emotion. You can feel the hate in his voice as he assassinates the men who tore his life apart. If you haven't played AC Origins due to gameplay changes, I strongly recommend you try it. I was skeptical. Being a longtime fan, you usually don't just want to change that drastically. But I'm happy to say that the new combat system is great. The variety of weapons and abilities also gives you something to work for, even if you've beaten the story part of the game. This game revitalized AC, and it made me extremely excited for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Finally, the best Assassin's Creed game, which I don't even consider an Assassin's game. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is a pirates game, plain and simple. The assassin part is interesting, but the best moments are on the open sea with your crewmates, singing sea shanties while navigating the Caribbean. I fell in love with this game. I never wanted to stop playing. The combat was great, the naval combat was even greater, and the ocean and cities look absolutely beautiful. I'm sure most of you have played this one, and share my love for it. Edward is a deeply flawed character, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You go through this journey, all the while making friends, pirating, and losing some of those friends. It's an emotional story with a spectacular ending. AC4 is the best AC game for me. While it may not hold that title forever, I don't think there will be another quite like it. That concludes my list of Assassin's Creed games ranked from worst to best. I'm really excited for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I hope it carries on the same momentum as Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm glad I got to share my love for this series with you. Well, that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.